if I were to start a band, I want to hire somebody I get along with. That's fun. You know what I mean? So that probably had a lot to do with you constantly being in all these different bands because people, yeah, we want Jack in the band, right? Don't you think?
Well, yeah, but I'm like you, Kenny. Like I love playing all kinds of music. I mean, when I first moved, when I took a leave of absence my fourth year of college. I was a pre-med student, right? I was going to be a doctor, so I take a leave of absence my fourth year. I moved to San Francisco, and with Jerry Martini brought me up, the sax player for Sly. They found me so, and the first thing he did was take me to the record plant studios in Sausalito to start, to meet Sly. And then I go to Sly's house. I mean, I'm telling you, I did an audition when I was 20 years old at Sly Stone's house. And I swear to God, it was like a fucking Fellini movie. I mean, it was just, can I say that? I shouldn't cuss.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Whatever you
but
want.
I mean,
Go ahead.
okay. I go in there and Jerry says, just go in there and play your bass when they tell you to play your bass. And then we're going to get out of there right away. I'm like, okay, you're a 20-year-old kid. You're bulletproof. You think you can do anything, right? So I go in there. And we're sitting around and there's people hanging out and like other people jiving and music going and people are dancing and all this, a scene, man, a serious scene. And then all of a sudden there's a hush. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. There's a hush on everybody and everybody looks up to the staircase and down comes walking Sly in this white robe with two women, a woman on each arm, right? And he's walking down and we're all in there and he comes and he sits down. And he sits in this big room and all the people come and line up all around in this big room, like a big family room or something. Right. And everybody's standing around all the things. And then Sly's like this, he's, like this. And he leans over to one of his buddies and goes like this. And so the guy tells Jerry, it goes up to Jerry Martini and says, blah, blah, blah. And Jerry comes up and he goes, go play. I'm like, play what? Oh, what do you want me to play? I'm like, Dad, what am I supposed to play? He said, just go play. This guy rolls a freaking twin reverb into the middle of the room with a guitar chord and my bass. And he goes, go play. And I'm like, okay. And so I get up and I go up to play. And back then, Kenny, I was definitely influenced by Larry Graham, the Brothers Johnson, everything. I was slap style. Everything's, so I get up there and I'm like, yeah, okay, check this out. And I just start going, I'm slapping and grooving and nobody's moving. Everybody's standing there like this in the room, looking at Sly. They're all looking at him like this. And I'm standing there going, well, I've just kept playing, man. The hell with it. I'm like, all that kind of stuff and everything like that. And all of a sudden, Sly's standing around. All of a sudden, Sly starts going, starts jiving like that. Starts moving like that. All of a sudden, everybody around the room starts grooving, right? They start moving. And then Sly leans over to the roadie. I swear to God, it was just like Tom Hanks on Saturday Night Live. A roadie comes running in with like a clavinet, D6 clavinet, and plugs in another twin reverb. And all of a sudden, Sly starts going, and I'm like, we're slapping and everything like that. We're just jiving and everything's like, fucking everybody's just down in the room, like dancing and woo, and everything like this. This goes on for about like 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden just Sly stops and goes, yeah. And, he just turns around and talks to somebody, goes like this. And he gets up and walks out of the room. And the guy goes over to tell, to talk to Jerry. And he says, tell him to come down to the studio tonight, Sausalito, come down to the studio at the record plant. And I'm like, oh, cool. And by then, all these people are coming up to me and they're going, hey man, what's going on? All these fine looking women are coming up and going, hey baby, what's happening, man? How you doing it? I'm like, this is great. And Jerry goes, okay, we're going to go now. And I'm like, no, man, why don't we stand? And he just like grabs me and frickin' pulls me out of the frickin' place. Like we're leaving now. But it took me out of that place. And that night we were at Sly cutting. Nothing ever ended up on a record, but that we jammed all night with Sly. We played the next day. I was there for like 3 days, 4 days, just jamming away. And then Jerry formed, Rubicon, and that's what happened. And nothing that Sly ever did at that time. He was pretty wild at that point. He was like, and he was having a good old time. So nothing really got accomplished, and everything like that. But that was my first indoctrination to the San Francisco music scene, huh? How about that, from the frying pan to the frickin' fire, right?
Oh my God. That's one of the greatest rock and roll stories. I mean, that's unbelievable. I can't compare that to another story just like that. That's it. But I remember going to see Sly when I was a kid, and he was notoriously like 2 hours late, 3 hours late. Everybody was all messed up, and but I remember, oh my God, I mean, yeah.
We'd go to the studio. We'd be in the studio, and there was two people. There was Sylvester Stewart, and there was Sly Stone. Okay, so during the day, he'd come in. You'd be. I was with my cousin, a real good-looking girl that lived in San Francisco, and she went out to smoke a cigarette. Sly's like lighting a cigarette for her. Just real nice. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Come on, let's check this out. I've got this thing I'm playing now, and okay, just about like 7, 8 o'clock at night, the sun goes down. Some dude shows up with a freaking shoebox, and the next thing we know, it's fucking Sly Stone, this vicious freaking, whoa, look out, and that was the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. God bless him, man. Some of the greatest, the most inspiring music that I ever heard in my life was the music off of those records. I mean, I still listen to Fresh before we go on stage. The Sly Stone album, Fresh, with In Time.
Oh, yeah.
If You Want Me to Stay, If It Were Left Up to Me. Yeah, no, I mean, before I go on stage, I'm jamming that, man. I mean, that was some of the most amazing music.
Yeah, it's guys like that, James Brown or even Prince, they just create a whole new style that nobody ever had.